There is oil on the water, not from a tanker, not from a pipeline, from a submarine that has been sitting on the ocean floor since 1943. No one put it there recently. No storm disturbed it. It has simply been leaking, slowly, for the better part of a century. Somewhere beneath the grey surface of the North Atlantic, a steel hull is quietly dissolving. Inside that hull, in some cases, are the remains of the men who were aboard when it went down. No one has touched it. No one has raised it. No one has opened it. There are hundreds of these wrecks. Some sit in shallow coastal water. Some are in working shipping lanes. Most have never been surveyed. Several are confirmed pollution sources right now. The war that sank them ended in 1945. The submarines did not. They are still down there, and that is the part that does not quite make sense. The OSPAR Commission, which monitors the environmental health of the Northeast Atlantic, has documented a significant number of World War II wreck sites actively leaking oil or fuel residue into surrounding water. These are not ancient wooden hulks slowly becoming reef. These are steel pressure vessels, many of them intact or near intact, with whatever was inside them when they sank still inside them now. Some sit in fewer than 60 meters of water, within reach of populated coastlines, fishing grounds, and undersea cable routes. Divers who have reached several of these wrecks report torpedo tubes still in position, personal equipment still recognizable, and in some cases, human remains. Norwegian and British environmental agencies have flagged specific sites as active contamination risks. These are not passive historical objects. They are present-day problems wearing the shape of the past. Germany built approximately 1,150 U-boats during the Second World War. Roughly 785 were lost. The vast majority sank at sea. If a salvage operation attempted to raise just one wreck per year, working continuously, it would not finish until somewhere around the 28th century. That number is not rhetorical. It reflects the genuine scale of what was left behind. The German U-boat archive in Cuxhaven has spent decades compiling records of individual boats, their patrols, and their fates. For a significant portion of those losses, the archive holds only an approximate grid square, a region of ocean where the boat was probably lost, not a confirmed coordinate. Modern search technology has refined some of those positions. Many remain zones of probability rather than verified locations. Somewhere out in the Atlantic, wrecks are corroding at their own pace, in positions nobody has confirmed. The corrosion does not wait for anyone to find them first. The Battle of the Atlantic ran from September 1939 to May 1945, the longest continuous military campaign of the entire war. U-boats were sunk by depth charges, aircraft, mines, and surface vessels. When a U-boat was hit at depth, it rarely offered its crew any realistic chance of survival. The Type 7 and Type 9 hulls were built from thick pressure steel designed to withstand the ocean. When that steel was breached, the boats sank fast and sealed. Many went down with full crews and full fuel loads, hatches closed, interiors intact. After the war ended, Allied priorities were demobilization and reconstruction. Recovering enemy submarines from the deep ocean was not on that list. A few shallow wrecks were cleared from harbor approaches as navigational hazards. The rest were left. That seemed, at the time, like the end of the story. Steel corrodes. It corrodes more slowly underwater than in open air, but it corrodes. The external saddle tanks that held diesel fuel on U-boats have been degrading for decades. As the metal weakens, the fuel finds its way out. The Norwegian Institute of Marine Research has documented measurable fuel seepage from multiple World War II wrecks in the North Sea. One wreck makes the problem impossible to ignore. U-864, sunk by a British submarine in February 1945 off the Norwegian coast near Fedje, was not carrying only diesel. It was transporting approximately 62 tons of liquid mercury, intended for Japan, sealed in iron flasks stored in the keel. The wreck sits at around 150 meters. The mercury is still there. Sediment surveys have detected contamination in the surrounding seabed. The hull is corroding. Norwegian authorities have been monitoring the site for years. That is not a historical footnote. That is an active environmental problem with no clean resolution in sight. The obvious answer is recovery. Raise the wrecks, remove the cargo, give the dead a proper burial. In practice, almost every part of that plan runs into a serious obstacle. Many wrecks sit at depths that require specialized equipment to reach at all. More critically, 80 years of corrosion has weakened hulls that were never designed to be lifted. Naval engineers have assessed multiple wartime wrecks and concluded that attempting to raise them risks catastrophic structural collapse during the lift, meaning fuel, ordnance, or toxic cargo would be released all at once, which is considerably worse than a slow leak. The U-864 case went through years of government review. The Norwegian Coastal Administration commissioned multiple engineering assessments through the 2000S and the 2010S. The conclusion was not recovery. It was entombment, encasing the wreck in a concrete sarcophagus on the seafloor. That decision has not been fully implemented. The debate continues. The wreck that seemed like the most urgent case to resolve has become the clearest demonstration of why resolving it is so hard. Engineering is not the only obstacle. A large number of U-boat wrecks are legally protected under international maritime law as war graves. When a warship goes down with its crew, that vessel becomes a protected site in most legal frameworks. Disturbing it requires consent from the nation whose flag it flew. Germany has consistently stated its opposition to the disturbance of U-boat wrecks containing crew remains. The United Kingdom, Norway, and other nations with relevant coastal jurisdiction have their own protections reinforcing this position. Roughly 30,000 German sailors died in U-boats during the war. Most were never recovered. Most have no grave marker, no accessible memorial, no named site. The wrecks on the ocean floor are, in the most literal sense, the graves. This creates a legal and ethical constraint that runs alongside every engineering argument. You cannot raise them because the hulls may collapse. You cannot open them because they are protected burial sites. And underneath all of that, there is one more layer. When a U-boat sank, it typically went down carrying whatever it had aboard. A standard Type 7 could carry up to 14 torpedoes, each warhead containing approximately 280 kilograms of high explosive. 80 years on the seafloor does not neutralize that ordnance. In many cases, it makes it less predictable. The explosive compounds in wartime torpedoes can become chemically unstable over decades of pressure and saltwater exposure. German Navy and civilian EOD teams respond regularly to World War II munitions found in the North Sea and Baltic, not occasionally, but as routine operational reality. Several U-boat wrecks in shallow coastal zones are treated as restricted areas precisely because of active ordnance risk. Exclusion markers float above sites that look, from the surface, like unremarkable stretches of water. The danger below them is documented, mapped, and ongoing. The surface of the North Atlantic looks the same as it always has: cold, wide, indifferent. Somewhere beneath it, a slow oil sheen rises from a hull that has been sitting undisturbed since the 1940s. The Battle of the Atlantic ended in May 1945. The U-boats did not. They remain distributed across the ocean floor in their hundreds, leaking, corroding, legally protected, structurally fragile, in some cases armed, and in almost all cases unreachable in any practical sense. The mercury inside U-864 will remain a live environmental concern well into the next century. The men who died inside these submarines remain where they came to rest. The ocean has not given them back. The water above them looks empty. It is not.